It's Inspiration Thursday. All right, you tire kickers, stick with me. I have a story for you. I'll be right back.
Welcome to Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. This podcast was created for the boomer woman leaving corporate, and now you're looking to reinvent yourself, become an author, an entrepreneur, a podcaster. Well, each episode will leave you with clarity. You will come away with the yes, I can and yes, I will reinvent myself mindset. So come on, let's do this. I'm your host, Margo Lovett.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Another episode, Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. Margo Lovett here. It is Inspiration Thursday. Well, I'm here because I want to tell you a story. Now, most of the time I don't timestamp these episodes, but it's very important that I tell you that I recognize the fact that we are coming up on 4th of July weekend. And I always get a bit sentimental because 4th of July weekend, many, many years ago, represents the day that I stopped kicking the tires concerning internet radio, podcasting on the internet. Yes, can you believe it? I was a tire kicker for months. I had to Oh my goodness, I was still working in corporate and I had been doing terrestrial radio at a small AM station. And I caught my eye about Live 365. Oh my goodness, programming a podcast for 24 hours, whatever you want to put on there, be it music or talk, whatever you want to do for 24 hours. That was mind blowing. I thought about it, but as I thought about it, and I'd go over and I'd listen to different shows and I'd talk to the people over in customer service. I think I asked them every question imaginable as I could see myself over there. But boy, oh boy, I was afraid. I was afraid. I mean, I'm in a studio right now working with an engineer versus coming on out and I have to set up this whole station, Live 365. I'd have to set it up. I'd have to maintain it. Boy, oh boy, was I really up for that. I was kicking the tires hard. And that's where that's where I came to understand there are two types of tire kickers. One, the type that I was then, I was kicking the tires because I wanted to make sure that I could do this. I'm working a job every day. I'm working 40, 50 hours a week, have family. Can you really do this? That job is exhausting. Once you get off of it, are you really going to have the bandwidth to go ahead and do what you want to do over here on Live 365? And then, are you really ready for your voice to go global? Are you ready for that? I mean, wow, I was shaking in my boots. So, you know, I was one of the kind of tire kickers that was looking at all of that and I was fitting to, and I thought about it for months and months, and I'd look at it for months and months and months. But then when I look back, I know that there's a flip side to the tire kicker. There's the tire kicker that's going to look at it a couple of times. They're going to jump into it headlong and haven't really done their homework, don't really know what it's all about, but it sure sounds good. It looks good. I'm doing it. And here's my money. Sign me up. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with either one. I'm just saying that I was one of the fraternal month tire kickers for months. And I will say at the end of before 4th of July weekend was over that year, I had started setting up my show, my station over on Live 365. So, yeah, so that weekend, it was like no more talking about it, no more kicking the tires, no more consultation. It's all on you. You're going to do it, or you're going to stop talking about podcasting over there. What's it going to be, Margo? I had to have that heart to heart, in the face, in the mirror conversation. And before the weekend was over, I was setting up my station on Live 365, and it was the best thing I ever could have done. All right. So let me go back and take a look at the two types of tire kickers, because I know some of you guys are kicking tires. And if you're the tire kicker like I was then, that's cool. But don't take months to do it, because what I found out was that the fear, the I don't know, the intrepidation, the wanting to have the perfect plan before I implement this, it wasn't going to happen. It didn't need to happen. I just had to have that heart to heart, knowing that you have the what it takes to build this out. Other people have told you what it looked like, how it's done. You have the technology in your favor. You have the knowledge about the industry in your favor. You have your why. You have the layout for the show. You have everything that you need right now. And I had it months before I decided on that 4th of July weekend to get started on this. I had it, but I didn't know that I had it. So, what I'm saying to you is that you can kick the tires way too many times, and you'll talk yourself out of starting something that really needed to be established over time. All right. And then you can be the tire kicker that kicks it a couple of times. You don't really talk to anybody. You're going off of instincts, you're going off of emotions, and you're diving headlong into something only to find out that you're really in over your head. The project, the whatever you're moving into is really much more than you thought, and much deeper than your capabilities find you. So then you're out of money, you're out of time, and you have to go back and to really take a good look at, wow, I should have thought that out more. I should have looked at that better. So that gets into a balancing act. And how do you balance between the two so that you can be productive, so that you can be successful? Hindsight tells me that you hire yourself a coach. You talk to somebody outside of your particular realm. Don't go to mama, don't go to grandma, don't go to your aunt, don't go to Uncle Louie. Hire somebody who's been there, done that, and they can help you make a sound decision. Because these most of the time when we're kicking the tires, we're looking at something that's going to change our lives. Had I not decided to build out that station, I'm talking about a 24-hour station that is going global. I decided that weekend, 4th of July weekend, I was going to build out that station. Had I not done that, I would have stayed stuck and much more afraid of the technology that comes with being a podcaster. I would not be the person that I am now, the podcaster that I am now, the one that takes on the new technology, and let's see whether or not it works in my ecosystem. Is it going to streamline my workflow? I can test these things out. Is this something that I want to bring to my students? Yeah, I'm teaching podcasting now. I have fallen so in love with podcasting, the industry, until I am teaching it. When I was kicking the tires, am I going to start up this 24-hour station on Live 365? I never saw teaching podcasting. That was not part of what was supposed to happen. But had I procrastinated and stayed at the AM station, and there's nothing wrong with that, nothing at all. But my vision and my purpose was much larger. It was to get on that global stage. It was to prove to myself that I have what it takes to survive, to thrive in this podcast industry, do it on my terms and help others along the way. I needed to do that. Had I not built out that 24-hour station, had I not produced, programmed it, I would not understand the power of building out her business, her voice, her conversation, and tweaking it and doing different things with it so that it's a benefit to you, the audience. I never would have understood that. I would have been stuck in something static, something that I learned, and we have to keep it that way. I would not be pliable in this fluid podcast industry. I would not have had the courage to invite certain people to be guests on my show, such as Susan L. Taylor. You know her from Essence Magazine. I never would have had the courage to read the book and reach out to Congressman now Pastor Walter Tucker III, and I would take that podcast to my grave forever. It was such an enlightening, transparent conversation with someone is in the who is making the decisions for us in America and what happens when certain things don't go right or certain things are done. And I saw the power of being totally transparent, which causes me to be totally transparent. I had I not decided to stop kicking the tires and build out that 24-hour station, I would not have in my mind appreciation for the podcast networks. People are building podcast networks, and I went to a network, brand new show, that very first year of Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. I went to a brand new network, and when you are a network, you are the overseer of bringing on different shows, a bunch of different shows that you are taking on the responsibility of feeding to your audience. Someone did that for me. Verkay Bashani Radio did that for me. They took my brand new show on, fed it to their audience because Mr. Benny Randall told me that he loves good talk radio and it's hard to find. I had to agree, but he took a chance on my brand new show. And when that network hit well over 2 million downloads and streams, I was in the top 4 category on that platform. And before I left Verkay Bashani, I myself had well over 50,000 downloads and streams. Never would have had that validation had I not actually took it upon myself to build a 24-hour podcast radio station over on Live 365. I did that. So I say that to say, and I share all of that with you because tire kicking has its place, but we have to make sure that it is not a resting place. We have to make sure that it is not a place where we dump our dreams, we halt everything. It's just a way station. And it becomes a way station and that you are able to leave with clarity, geared for success when you hire yourself a mentor, a coach, a someone who can help you get the clarity and well define the next and make sure that you're up for what you're moving into. All right. So celebrate this 4th of July weekend. Think about my story. It's a true story. And, if it's time to make a move, put your money where your mouth is. Make that dynamic move and hire out a coach, or make that dynamic move and get into that class. Start up whatever you're supposed to start up. Make that next giant move. Okay? Stop kicking the tires. And, I did, and it was the best thing that I could have ever done. So, another thing, Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation for this summer, we are using How Inspiration Thursdays and How To Fridays. Well, I brought you a special edition show this Tuesday. Slow down, Margo. This Tuesday, I brought you a special edition show, and I posed the question, what is your exit strategy? Today on Inspiration Thursday, we're talking about kicking the tires. And I will be back tomorrow on How To Friday. I'm going to walk with you and show you the power of a good interview, what it's done in my life, what it can do for you. I'm just going to give you spill the tea, drop the beans, whatever they say, a little bit. I want you to know that a good interview, something, I don't care if you're brand new, your first book, you're just starting out that podcast, you're working in the self-development industry, you just came up with a brand new course, whatever it is, you need a good interview so that you can use that in your media kit, so that you can put it in a press release, because that's exactly what I did when I started up Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. I think it was probably 6 months old, and I was interviewed, and I interviewed someone else, and that footage was added into my press packet. And I'm just going to tell you that one press release, it it was featured on the internet. It was featured on NBC, ABC, Fox, the CW, all those internet outlets. I never talk about it. Never really tell anybody about it. It didn't seem to be such a big deal until I built out a platform that will facilitate that same kind of experience for someone. And then I thought about it. I thought, wow, that was a really big deal, you know. And now I'm able to still use that experience. I'm able to say, yeah, that was validation. That's those letters, those call letters, I'm able to use them on my social network because it's true story. So we'll deep dive into that on How To Friday. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm Margo Lovett, Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. Thanks for joining me here on on Inspiration Thursday. I really, truly pray that you make your move and stop kicking those tires if it's time. All right. Bye-bye now. I want to thank you for listening to Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. Couple of things that I want you to do right now. Go to my website, pick up a copy of Her Business, Her Voice, Her Reinvention, how I went from game show hopping to international show host, author, and speaker in 1 year. Number 2, please freely listen to each and every episode. Share them out with your family, friends, the men in your lives. And then number 3, get in contact with me, one of the experts that have been on the show, because I want to make sure that you reinvent yourself. I'll be back next week with a brand new episode here on Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation.